Good morning, everyone. It's November 12th, 2020, Thursday. To give you a quick recap and what you need to know bell. Before the bell, the Dow ended lower Wednesday as weakness in value stock offset strength in technology. Dow Jones Industrial Average fell 0.08% or 23 points. This S&P, which you can see in the graph. The S&P 500 was up 0.78 and Nasdaq, while the Nasdaq at 2.101%, which is the Nasdaq graph. It is closed near record level yesterday, just below the September end of 3,580 for S&P 500. As COVID-19 cases remain high, Andrew Cuomo in New York ordered bars and restaurants licensed by state liquor authority to close their indoor areas at 10 p.m., while gyms must also shut at 10 p.m. Giant tech Amazon.com, Google, Microsoft, Facebook, and Apple rose with a later ending around 3%. Alibaba, which is symbol BABA, which I mentioned a couple of weeks ago, which ended 10% lower overnight Asia due to Chinese government potential financial regulation changes. However, pair gains in U.S. market news that its sales event known as Single Day generate record sales of more than 74 billion. So the aftermarket was up on this stock. WTI oil price moved higher, 41.50 per barrel, and gold slipped to 1,862 per ounces. And this morning, pre-market is slightly higher, like at 1,072. U.S. President-elect Joe Biden yesterday appointed longtime confidant Ron Klain to be his chief of staff. U.S. threatens new China sanctions over Hong Kong. When national legislators approve a new law prohibiting Hong Kong's elected officials from opposing China's control of territory. Global stocks slid as COVID-19 vaccine relief fades. Part of the U.S. have imposed new restriction. Dow futures have dropped close to 1%. S&P futures down approximately 0.5%. And Nasdaq up very slightly before the bell. Jobless initial claims already came out this morning. It fell to 709,000, which is again better than what was reported previously. Consumer price index is 0%, which is slightly lower than forecast, 0.2%. But in terms of the jobless claim, it get better and better, which is a great encouraging news. But I don't know if this is pricing in some seasonal hiring. And also the seasonal hiring, as you know, normally is the people supporting the Black Friday and Christmas sales. The people who work in office like me may still have trouble and find jobs. The UK economy grew at a record 15% in the third quarter, but rising COVID-19 deaths threatened its recovery. GDP came in much better than previous report, but still lower than the estimate. And UK manufacturing production index came as 0.2% versus consensus of 1%, which is worse than expected. Gold leads is slightly higher, just mentioned earlier, and with oil is around 41.47 at the moment. Earnings expected: Disney, Cisco, Paradigm Technologies, and GoodRx all gonna report results. And typically, the market will dip about up to 7 days winning strip. So, because of the vaccine, so it was driving a really good news and hitting up close to 1,000 point in one day in Dow, which was the pre-market was 1,500, and it was continued to value for both Dow and Nasdaq. Vaccine will take 6 months or even longer to reach our general public. We kind of appeal efforts still going on from Trump administration and some other market uncertainty, and then the diplomacy and the tension between U.S. and China, that all can cause the market to go down. So if you look at the chart here, which typically after the value for 7 days, it kind of tipped back down in the yesterday and also in the morning, pre-market down about 200 points in Dow. But I am looking at if the market is going to tip down, it may hit back to around this 28,700 level, and then we will see if we will sustain up to 50 days average and then go back higher again. You can see a very clear, interesting V shape here, which is back in around after the September 3rd drop, you know, deep in Dow, and also this is another V shape in October, which is not very long ago. Probably you guys still remember 3 weeks ago. On Nasdaq, it was still pretty strong. You had a dip, but then rebound because what happened here is there's a mix on the Nasdaq. Antitrust is going on legislation in Europe trying to get also have filed lawsuit against U.S. Giant tech company, and then also there's some concern about if the vaccine came back, what happened to online sales and Zoom company that will benefit from pandemic. So even like I said, it will take about 6 months to a year potential to reach out to general public. So the potential maybe the shock happened at the time, thinking about what happened when vaccine came into play, and after that people realize, hey, you still have a way to come. So Zoom price have kind of rebound from the 500 low ends, and I don't know. I mean that the stock is still 500 is still overvalued. I the the point is there are more downside than the upside. If I look at Zoom, some stock like Adobe could be a good buy if it hit lower, but those are stocks that need to be worried, a little bit concerned about. And then the people who still have the position with TECS, VIX, or STOW, the market may be down today, so you know it could be help to hatch some of the positions. Um, I will try to sell some of the stock, while this is valid and take advantage of it. And then this is the opportunity to reshuffle and look at what you have. And I've given up the top 10 stock considered to buy. BIGC currently is still at around 72.50, so that could be good. XPEV is still at a level of 33.50, so by around 32 would be good probably. And then which sits still for next year to grow. And then the other one, BLNK, which if Biden gonna be really signing the contract, expanding the road area where you're gonna have the recharging station, then that stock will be really skyrocketing in the future. And then I will also look at some retail stock because holiday season coming, and I think that with the vaccine but the vaccine have a hope to be able to really resolve and the pandemic, then there will be a good chance to buy those stock and wait for a few months, and definitely but the sales may still be sluggish in this quarter though. So but then in the next 6 months of forward view, it should be pretty good, even though there could be a price in some of the reactions that you see because these retail stocks have really been up a lot. I'm trying to buy them, but I don't want to chase a tail if it keep pushing higher and higher. If you like my video, just please subscribe if not done so. Thank you for your support.